You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Thursday, 24th day of April, 2025. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first live broadcast, that's our live training room. That is reserved for members only and those who are taking the 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken the 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in a bit, he's going to come on first today. He'll walk you through a couple times, step by step, how to take the trial. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today, and you'll get 5 consecutive trading days on the trial with access to everything. Don't worry about the weekend. That does not count against you. When the live training room ends, you take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. That's everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's that. Michael, are you here? All right, go ahead and grab it.
Okay. Here. And there we go. Ready to roll.
All right, looks good.
Good. Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me. Okay, that's better. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 12th day. I'm sorry, it's 12 o'clock. Today is, it's not Monday either. Today is Thursday, the 24th day. The 24th day of April, 2025. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button right here, okay? There is no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button. It's going to bring it to this registration page. Just fill out the page, okay? Down at the bottom, I actually redid this a little bit last time. I made that a capital M. Fill out the bottom. Down here on the bottom, if you want to get charts, make sure you give us your TradingView login ID. If you want to get the charts that we're using in the room, give us your TradingView login ID, okay? That's that. Today we were up where I wanted to be. I wanted to be over $2,000 today. We were up to that level until I stepped out on that last NQ trade there. But we still maintained over 2,035 on a daily average. That's what I was trying to do. We have 4 business days left, I think. Right? What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 business days left this month. So I want to maintain over $2,000 average per day on the month. To be the first time we'd ever done that, I think. Now, that said, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We're up 230 ticks on the NQ, minus 23 on the Russell, plus 75 on gold, and plus 7 on the ES. That put us at $1,872.50 this morning with 1 contract. Now, today it took 2 minutes in 1 trade to get to $3,000. This is with 10 contracts. This column, all these numbers right here are with 10 contracts, right? All the way up through the whole year. That column is with 10 contracts. It says it right at the top, right? Reach with multiple contracts traded, all right? So I'll put that to 10 because this year it's 10. So that is that. That put us at 30,537 on the month so far over 15 trading days, averaging $2,035 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we're at $114,825 over 68 trading days, averaging $1,688 per contract per 2-hour session. Now, the 24/20 blueprint is a plan to get you to trading 20 contracts over 24 months. Basically, that works out to getting $100 per contract per day. If you can consistently get $100 per contract per day and add one contract for every $2,000 you make, that is going to work out to be one contract per month, roughly. It'll actually be a little quicker than that, probably, because usually I get more than $100 per contract. Anything that's over $1,000 in here was more than $100 per contract when I got the goal. All right, there are only 1, 2, 3 out of 15 days that I stopped at $100 per contract. And that doesn't mean I kept trading. It means the trade that I had open just gave me a lot more profit. This morning, for instance, the first trade I took was a Russell trade. It was minus 25. The next trade I took was an NQ trade. That was plus 75. So I ended up with plus 50 ticks overall after that. Okay, and that worked out to be $3,000 a contract. I think that's what it was. No, it was yeah, whatever. I did it on here. It was this was not this. This was a minus 25, and this was a plus 75. Was that right? Oh, it was the ES. It was minus 25. That's why. Okay, it was minus 25 on the ES. Sorry. 437.50. Well, then it was actually even more than 3,000. I don't know. Oh, you know what? It wasn't a 75. It was a 60. That's what the deal was. I remember that now. It was a 60 and a minus 25. All right. It did work out to be $3,000 a contract. Anyway, the idea is to add one contract per month. And if you did do that so far this year and quit trading when you get that $100 per contract, so far this year, you would only have to work 8.8 hours if you did it just like me, and you'd be up $28,032. Okay, $28,032. Trading 4 contracts right now. All right. So back here now. The gold, we had the most trades on gold today. Again, so I'm going to start out. I'll just do it backwards. We'll go with the NQ and work our way from right to left. Okay, I did do some aggressive trades today. Not too many, just 1 or 2. And I'm pretty sure they all worked out. Our first trade here on the NQ, we did pick up 60 ticks on that one. Then the next trade, we picked up 75. That got us to 135. Then we had 40 right there. That got us to 175. Then we had a break even and then another 40 right there. That was an aggressive trade. The light blue ones like that are aggressive, right? And that got us to 215. Then we had another one right here that got us up to 290. That was a 75 gain right there. Got us to 290. Then we stopped out on this one. Right at the end of the session, we stopped out on that one. Burst down to 230. During the break, there wasn't a lot of action here during the break. Of course, the break is a lot shorter right now than it usually is for me, but we would have been looking for shorting opportunities in here coming out of the overbought, which would have been right in here. That wouldn't have worked out at all. Then you wouldn't have done another one until you came out of the oversold right here for the long trade. That would have worked out. You would have done another one right here. That would have eventually worked out. Then another one way over here that would have worked out. And then a short right there and a short right there. Okay. That was the NQ. We ended up with, what did we end up with? Plus 230 on the NQ after the last stop out. On the ES, we ended up with plus 7. So our first trade on the ES was right here. I think tomorrow we're going to go back to a 7 range on the ES, right? Because you can see we have the whole day right here, like a half a screen. We started out here with a stop out on the ES for minus 25 on that. Then we got minus 9 right there. We had to break even. And then right here, we went to plus 7. And that was all that we did on the ES. During the break, we're above the YBR, so I'm looking for things that are going to give you long opportunities. There was one right here that would not have worked out where it came out of the oversold, and you wouldn't have done another one until all the way over here. That would have worked out. Then the next one was right there. You could have done that. And the next one was right here. That would have stopped you out. Okay. And be looking for your next opportunity coming up pretty soon in here. It's kind of choppy in here, so you might want to do aggressive trades instead of conservative trades. Okay. And that was the ES we ended with plus 7 on the ES. On the Russell now. The Russell. You can do the whole Russell in one screenshot too. we didn't have many results. We had these two trades. And this one right here, we stopped out minus 25. And then we had this one over here. We picked up 2 ticks to put us at minus 23. And that was it for the Russell. Okay. Now, on the gold now, let's do this. The gold, we have a lot of bars, so we can scroll back quite a ways here to do all the gold trading. Okay, so gold, we started out with a break even on the first trade. Then we picked up 20 ticks. On the next one, we're at plus 20. Then I messed this one up and I stopped out minus 15. So that put us down to 5. Had a break even, then we got a 10 back to 15, then 5 back to 20. Then a couple of break evens, 3 break evens, then another stop out back down to 5, then another break even, then another 10. That got us to 15. Then we went from 15 to 25 right there, so we got another 10. And then we got 2 25s in a row. We went from 25 to 50 and then 50 to 75. And then we had a couple of break-even trades in here on the gold. And that was it. That is where we wrapped it up for the gold for the morning. So we ended up with plus 75 on gold. Now, I'll draw this in as we go through the rest. We have another 21 minutes right now for me to do this stuff. So I'll draw in the fibs and stuff like that as I see them developing. But that's what I was doing in here. Okay, that is what I was doing in here, and just getting out the question box to see if anybody asked any questions. Dan, Michael, George, let's see, where's the question box? Here it is. All right, if you guys have any questions, just type them in. Right, anybody has any questions, just type them in. Okay, let's see. What we're looking at now, we're in a slow grind up right here, right? We don't have a really strong trend. We have a trend, but it's not a really strong trend. Now, if you crunch this up like this, crunch it up like that, we are well up above this. And so we'll pull back down to this area right here, should find support right here. Okay, that's what I'd be looking for. The way it's come together, if you did an aggressive trade from right here, that would have been okay. It would have been on the open of this bar, the aggressive trade from right here. I mean, did an aggressive trade at the open of that bar, that would have been okay. But in a trade right now, the way it's coming together, you're going to have the up close. Well, the open is right here. It should make it up to here. That would be just enough to get your stop to break even. Okay, so be cautious about that with the gold right there. What I wanted to look at was, I want to go out here a little bit more and see during the break if things really changed at all with the ES. They didn't. All right, Dwayne's going to come on. He's going to show you all this stuff with fibs and everything else on a lighter time frame. But just a quick look at it shows yesterday's high was met right here. Okay, and the close on this day, the close on the 9th of April was right here, and that turned out to be the spot that everything sold off of right there. Okay, and so it's got to get through all of that. Once it breaks through that, I drew this in last week. Once it breaks through that, we have a woo opportunity, a window of opportunity, a woo spot right there. It's got to break through all that to get up there, though. Close above the BBC today and above this high, close anywhere above this level right here would be really good for tomorrow. Okay, if we got to close anywhere above that level today, would be really good for tomorrow. Dwayne's going to get into all that when he takes the charts back in a few minutes. But for right now, I'll just go back to the 4 contracts. And I'll say to anybody that's coming in right now, I know normally Dwayne's talking right now and I'm not, but if you're coming in right now on YouTube and you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on the purple button. It's going to bring you to this registration page. Just fill it out. All right. If you don't have TradingView, get TradingView. There's instructions down at the bottom. All right, so let's do some more trading if we can. So right here on the gold right now, Dan, this is what I'd be working with, okay? Be looking for an entry right here in this area. So if you get a down close on this one right here, a down close on this one, it didn't happen. But if you did get a down close on that one, it would have put a potential aggressive entry spot right here at the midpoint. It didn't work out that way. It might work out that way on the next bar, not the next one, but the one after. But you see how I'm looking out? I do turn off confirmation notifications on Sierra. You got to go to the trade window. You attach trade window to chart and go to the M, the menu. It's under there, remember? Anytime you change your bracket, that's automatically going to turn back on. Okay, Michael, do you remember how to do that? Okay. It's under the other thing. It's not under here. Okay. If you go to attach trade window to chart, it's on that. The M halfway down the chart is where it is. Okay. And then that says confirmations when you click on it. And you'll have one thing checked. Anytime you change a bracket around, it's gonna change that. I'm gonna change this, as a matter of fact, right now. I'm gonna go back to a 7 range on this. I'm gonna change my bracket. I'm gonna change my bracket on the ES right now. Okay, so that is gonna set that thing up when I do it. I'm gonna turn it back on. Well, I gotta change my bracket first. Oops, I gotta do it on the right one. That's not even the ES. Hang on. That was the NQ. Here's the ES. And I'll change my bracket to a 10 by 30 for a 7 range. And then I got to go to the M and go to confirmation and shut off that. And there it is. All done. And I'll save my chart book. I'll save. Hey, Control S also does that. Didn't realize it. I wasn't showing it to you. Yeah, it's not in there. Okay, you see it's going to be right in here. Under this thing. Click the little M right over there. Yeah, uncheck all of them. No checked boxes. That is correct. Okay. All right. So now we did 100% retracement here on this. We're above. So you could have done an aggressive long trade. You can't really do that. It's got to be when it goes into the oversold. So you're going to wait for the conservative trade right here. This would be an okay trade. It should be an okay trade to get back up to the midpoint right here on the gold. Okay, it should be an okay trade getting back up to the midpoint on the gold. And there it is, right there. I think this is the gold, right? Yeah. So from here, it should be an okay trade getting back up to here. It did 100% retracement, and so your entry point is down here, pretty close to the swing low. So what it's doing right here, what the market is doing, so you get a better understanding what I think it's doing anyway. Because it did 100% retracement and not a 50% retracement, I think it's going to try to get back up to here. Here's the trade, by the way. I think it's going to try to get back up to there. And I don't have a very good entry on that, do I? I should have entered 43.6. No, that's not too bad, 43.8. I think it's going to try to get back up to here to the midpoint and then possibly turn down from here. All right. I think it's trying to put in this right here is what I think. Okay, and because it did 100% retracement instead of a 50% retracement. So that kind of sets you up to change directions. All right, we're above the YBR, so we're not going to look for the short, but we can look for the long to get us up here to the midpoint. The midpoint is up here at 45.3, which is right here. That'll be enough to lock in at least 10 ticks in profit. Okay. Again, we just want to get that stop to break even. All right, we haven't gone 5 ticks into profit yet, I don't think. Have we? Yeah, I guess we did. We went 6 ticks into profit. All right, well, it's my mistake if I stop out on this. I should have had my stop and break even already. I think it's going to go anyway. I think we're going to have another shot at it here. And we can focus on this market if you want. So you can see what I was talking about, right? You have this 100% retracement. It went right through the 50 down to here. The swing low is right here. So what I would look for now, that showed weakness in the market going in the bullish direction. That showed weakness in the bullish direction. But it's starting to show strength in the bearish direction. Okay. So if we get up here to the midpoint and it stops there, that's what I expect it's going to do here. Get up to the midpoint and stop. Then you'll have this happening right here. All right. Now it's got to get to 0.3. There it is. Stop to break even. Now I expect it's going to get up to right here, 45.3. Okay, so I could drag this down to 45.3, and that would be 15 ticks if it gets there. I'm going to lock in just a little bit right here. Okay, now I'm going to lock in 10 because I'm always happy to take 10 ticks. And there, 15 ticks. Okay, so now we're right where I thought it was going to be. And we'll see if it turns down from here. All right, if it turns down from here, then this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. You see that, right? If it keeps going, that's great. As long as it goes up above this prior swing high, that's great. It continues the trend. But if it doesn't keep going, which is what I think is going to happen, then we're going to show strength on the downside. And it's going to take a little while to turn into anything that you can trade because it's going to flip below the YBR. Unless you start doing the divergence trades, it's going to have to flip below the YBR. But doing the divergence trades, you would have shorted right here a minute ago. You would have shorted here, taken some profit, then probably wouldn't want to short again because it didn't sold. But this is right here is exactly what I thought I was going to do. Right now, I don't think we're going to get another shot at this, so we'll look at some other markets right now. It's going to have to move around, quite a bit to give us another shot. So we'll look at some other markets right now. All right, we did get the 10 ticks. Now we got actually 15 ticks out of that. So that was good. We got the 15 ticks. And if it keeps going up, that's great. No, if it keeps going up, I don't mind that at all. But all right, now look at all these things right here. Let's take this one apart. All right, crap, it's 12:22. That went by quick. And I really got a bunch of things I got to do. So I got to stop right at 12:30, maybe 12:28. I'll start ending it. But let's look at this one right here. Okay, we do the same kind of analysis on this. We're above the YBR, so we want to see this pull back roughly to right about here. You want to have your entry point being right in here. Okay, right in there is where you want to have that entry point. And the ES, let's remove that. And on the ES, we'll do a fresh one here on the ES from there to there. This is where you'd want your entry point. This did turn into a trade. All right, it did turn into a trade and it's working out, but I'd like to see this go up and put in a higher swing so we can bump this up a little bit. Okay. But it's not giving us anything to work with right now. All right, and over here on the NQ, we had this a little while ago. Let me just get rid of that and we'll start fresh on that one. Okay, so this is what we're looking at on the NQ. Slide that over and that over and that over and that over. This we got to extend a little bit, just a little bit. This is really having a hard time. So the way it's coming together, a down close is going to put it down here in the oversold. All right. An up close is going to put it in the overbought. A down close is going to put it in the oversold. Did it paint that bar? It didn't paint that bar. Hang on. Go here to here. All right. So we didn't get that, did we? We're looking for the close on this. It's just a little bit of a mess right here. Let me do that and update to the latest version. It's bugging me. I have that on yields. I do it right over here. It's the latest version on that one too. It's just the password change on that. Excuse me. All right, so this needs to move up just to here. And we're in the oversold here. Now this is, I'd really rather see a down close here than an up close. I wouldn't want to do an aggressive trade right here. I wouldn't want to do a conservative trade right here. But a conservative trade, if this bar closes down like that, and now the next bar, let's see what the swing low is. Okay, because this has moved a little bit. So now the swing low is actually right here. Okay, well, here you go. That's what we're working with. So I'd really rather see it go down here. If you get an up close on this right here, you know, we're below the YBR. I'm sorry, we're above the YBR. So you're only looking for long trades. This right here is not going to give you anything to work with. You're going to be in chop right here. I'd rather see a down close right here. Maybe two down closes and then a pullback. But it's showing weakness right here. The fact that it stopped right here is showing weakness on the upside. So I'd really rather see it get down below the YBR. A couple down closes down below the YBR, a big flat spot down here. That'd be nice. A leg length just like this, as a matter of fact, would be perfect. And if I draw that for you, draw that leg length from here. Oops, that was a little crooked. From there down to there. Okay. That would be perfect. I grab that. Why does it keep doing that? Grab that. Let's get right there. That's what we'd be looking at for the leg length. Okay, and there just hit the YBR. So everything that I wanted to have happen with that is kind of happening right now. The YBR is going to flip, so we're not looking for a long trade here anymore. We're not looking for any trade there anymore. Okay, the YBR is going to flip. You're going to start looking for short trades. Now, did you see how all that came together? Did you see that when it gave you this 100% retracement and then a 50% move and now 100% move down? This leg length, it's almost 100% retrace. I mean, move down, leg length down. So you see how everything's all changed, right? Pretty good stuff. So now we want to see that. You want to have your entry point be up here somewhere. So right now, an aggressive, if you get an up close on this bar, it's going to put this into the overbought. An aggressive short trade on an up close right here with the trend. If it doesn't go down right now, an aggressive short trade on an up close right here would probably be a pretty good trade to take. Okay. If it didn't go down, but it's gone down. So now that's not going to be the trade you want to take. Okay, but the way it was lining up was perfect. Now something just happened. The market's just starting to move a little bit. Okay, well, I'm going to start wrapping it up because I really got to go somewhere and do some things right at 12:30 and get ready for some other things that are coming up in meetings that I have set with you guys this afternoon. And we have a partners meeting tonight. Partners meeting tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you have not taken a free trial, let's go here to mytradingIQ.com. Click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button. It's going to bring it to this registration page. Just fill out the page down at the bottom. Make sure you give us your TradingView login ID. Okay. Do all that. And we'll get you with your indicators indicating on your chart. So you can take part completely in the trial. All right. This is what it looks like now. See that, Dan? So you can't really do anything from, I mean, you can if you want to. If you want to, you can do something from right here. But it was more than 100% leg length down. Right here was 100%. So the retracement's probably going to be pretty deep. We want to see a flat spot here. Ideal entry would be from right here. All right. If you get a, I don't know how it's all going to come together now. It's going to have to be conservative entry from up there or conservative entry from right here. It's pretty close. So this is probably going to work out with the conservative entry from right there. It is pretty close. But either way, I got to wrap it up. If you haven't taken a free trial, go to mytradingIQ.com, sign up for the trial on the purple button. No credit card required. And today we were up $1,872. On the month, we're up $30,537. And on the year, we're now up $114,825. That is with one contract, right? With one contract so far this month, we're averaging over $2,000 a day in the morning session. Okay. And this, as I just said, would have been a good conservative short trade to take. Sadly, I didn't get filled. But hopefully you guys did. All right. And that is it, guys. With that, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready. Excellent.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 2 minutes and one trade to get to $3,000.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we're going to dive right into Logic 247. It's our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. We're currently in week 351. Over the last 351 weeks, we've issued over 19,400 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less being stopped out based on market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. So far this week, since the market opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, when Valor did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, we had issued a total of 36 alerts. 4 never triggered, still waiting on 9. 33 actionable alerts, of which 3 or 9% would have been stopped out based on market structure and that simple process we teach all of our passport holders. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. 2 a.m., 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Purpose of the logic alerts is to teach you how to read a chart. Yes, you can trade them, but make sure you use them, because we're over 19,400 at this point. So we're approaching that big 20,000 round number. Make sure you use the alerts to learn how to read a chart. Okay. Now, original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, they're different. Different how? Well, number one, they don't come out around the clock. I went ahead and posted last night at 5:55 p.m. Eastern, 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. So all members and all trial members had all of these targets 5 minutes before the Thursday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. So let's go take a look at the chart. Where we always start, the daily S&P. All right, we are back above the BBC. Now today's high, 54.95. Yesterday's high, 54.99.75. So if we take out, now we got major resistance at yesterday's high, and then at the 50% reverse fib. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. The vertical line separates today, Thursday. Here's Wednesday. Back here's Tuesday. The horizontal lines, those are the weekly trading zones that are published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Now you see today's high here, and yesterday's high here. Okay, so we're coming up against that major resistance I was just talking about. Here's where the market opened last night. This is a window I drew in yesterday on the broadcast. Market opened. We ran into resistance. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the VBC. Stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish, expecting higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish, expecting lower prices. So off the open, we hit resistance times 2, the weekly zone and the BBC. Resistance will always send the market looking for support, which it found at the short target. That bounced us back up to resistance at the BBC, which sent us back down to the target and to the zone that was published Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Support held, sent us back above the BBC. The retracement held. We've now hit the long target, and we're in the process of taking out yesterday's high. And this right here is the not the all-time, but the highest weekly trading zone for this week. 55.46/47. On the Dow, here's where we opened. Now remember, everyone had the targets 5 minutes ahead of the open, and we dropped in the first 30-minute candle right to the short target. Caught a bounce, came down to support, caught another bounce. See how the underside of that short target became resistance, and that sent us down this spot here. See that? This high here equals this low right here. Okay. And so from support, we go looking for resistance. We finally make it all the way up to this zone. We consolidate for an hour and a half. Now we're working our way up to the long target at 40.260. On the Russell, here's where we opened. Again, everybody had the targets 5 minutes ahead of the open, and in the first 30-minute candle, bang, we hit the target. Got a bounce, and the resistance we found was basically closing this gap lower open. It sent us down to the short target, pull back to the BBC, sent us down to the zone held. That got us, once red and falling turned to blue and climbing, we got a leg, a retracement, and a big leg, and we're almost up to the highest weekly zone for the Russell. 1959 was the target, 63.64 is the highest weekly zone. On the NQ, gap lower open, but everybody had the targets, again, 5 minutes ahead of the open, and we dropped to the short target. Support sends us to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, and the zone held beautifully. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. That got us back above the BBC. So we had a leg, a retracement. Now we got a big leg, but we're running out of steam. Notice how the step line, it's crossing blue and climbing. When that happens, we anticipate a retracement back to the BBC. Crude. Here's where we opened last night. Trapped, support below, resistance above. We ran up to resistance times 2, the BBC, pulled back holds more often than not. And then we got a leg down, and we didn't quite take out this low. That's a sign of strength. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. Got a leg, got a retracement. The zone and the BBC held. Support sends us to resistance at the zone, 63.15/63.20. And we made 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts. You see wicks like that to the upside. Look for price to make a move to the downside. Okay. Buyers came in here, pushed us back up. We're at the BBC in red and falling. Now the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. This one just might trade through, but look for resistance right here at 63 bucks. Gold. Here's where we opened, right at a weekly zone. And that candle, it opened at, we'll call it 33.02. And it ran up to 33.25. That's $2,300 per contract traded in that one candle. Continued on up to the long target, overcame it, got a retracement, hit the zone, spiked it just a little bit. What was the high? 33.77, the zone 72/73. Resistance will send the market looking for support, which it found at the zone and the BBC. So we got a leg, a retracement, we got a leg, but we were unable to take out this area, so now blue and climbing's turned to red and falling, and we're back at the zone. Only 3 things happen when price encounters a weekly zone. 70% of the time it's going to be consolidation, like this. 20% of the time rejection. 10% of the time the slice. Silver. Here's where we open, price trapped, support below, resistance above. We hit red and falling, and that took us all the way down to the zone. Here, support bounced us up to resistance at the BBC, which sent us back to the zone support, back to the BBC resistance, back to the zone support, and again and again. We finally broke above the BBC, and we barely took out that high right there by that little tiny wick. So we're always suspicious of just a little bit. So that sent us back down to support at the zone. Now we did spike it, okay? We spiked it right down just above this area of support. We're now back above the BBC. Red and falling has turned to blue and climbing. If we take out this high right here, we basically got a double top there right now. You've got potential resistance here, here, and then you're at the zone. The good news on silver is it only takes 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. So one last look at the daily. 54.99.75. 54.99, we're 3 ticks away from yesterday's high. And then right above that, you got the 50% reverse fib. It's a reverse fib because we're in a downtrend. In an uptrend, you draw your fibs from the low to the high. In a downtrend, you draw your fibs from the high to the low. And whenever you hit a 50% fib on a daily chart of any market, that is always a big deal. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com, watch the videos there, and then send an email to support@cfrn.net. In the subject line, put "I want to become a member." In the body of the email, put your name, put your phone number. We're not going to call you, but we'll send you an email that explains everything it means to become a passport holder. There'll even be a link in that email that you can click to become a member. You're going to get 2 hours of interactive training every trading day. 9 out of 10 new traders fail simply because they don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. That's a shame. We've plugged that hole. Along with the group training every trading day, you also have access to private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Price flows the same across all markets. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETF. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, the concierge trade alerts the second they're posted. Monday morning, you'll get an email, or actually, you'll go to the Telegram channel for the weekly trading zones. They're published at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. And as you just saw, here it is Thursday, and the zones Monday are still doing their job. You'll be able to attend the Members Only Workshop every Thursday night. That happens tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Members, have your questions ready. And last but not least, you get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram. On the trial, you have access to the public channels. Once you become a passport holder, you have access to all the channels. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Good word for the day. Find prayer partners. Then they came to him, bringing a paralytic who was carried by 4 men. Mark 2:3. You say, I don't have faith to be healed. Then find some prayer partners who have faith. Then they came to him, bringing a paralytic who was carried by 4 men. And when they could not come near him because of the crowd, they uncovered the roof where he was. So when they had broken through, they let down the bed on which the paralytic was lying. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic in Mark 23:5, I say to you, arise, take up your bed, and go to your house. Immediately he arose, took up the bed, and went out in the presence of them all, so that all were amazed and glorified God, saying, We never saw anything like this. And you know, that story never tells us what happened to the guy who had the hole in his roof after this. Just like the pigs that went over the cliff. Yeah. What happened to that guy? That was his livelihood. But back to this. Notice two important phrases in what I just read you. First, when they had broken through. Second, when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, if you don't have faith to be healed, look for those who can carry you into the presence of Jesus in prayer, believe God for you, and who can pray through until God answers. This paralyzed man needed 4 friends with faith. You only need 2. Jesus said, again I say to you, that if 2 of you agree on earth concerning anything that they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. Matthew 18:19. This raises some important questions. How often do you pray? Daily? Weekly? Monthly? Paul said pray without ceasing. Only when you have a problem you cannot solve? Are all your prayers self-focused, or do you pray for others? To have prayer partners when you need them, you need to be one. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.